everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. I'm learning Japanese and I learned something new, so why don't you let me share it with you. Okay, so today we're going to be covering another grammar pattern, and this grammar pattern is going to be X ni shitagate or X ni shitagai to mean in accordance with X or following X or something along those lines. And so this grammar pattern is actually going to derive from basically a single word, the verb shitagau, which means to follow or to abide by or to act in accordance to. What we're going to do is we're just basically going to turn this into its te form, shitagate, or if we're using that premos version, shitagai. So then X ni shitagate or X ni shitagai is, as you can probably assume, going to mean in accordance with X or following X. Further, with that said, you can probably assume what we're going to use this grammar pattern for. We're going to insert a noun or a verb in the place of X, then we're going to put ni shitagate or ni shitagai, and then we're going to say something else, and that something is going to be what's happening in accordance with that noun or that verb we use. So what we're going to do first is we're going to cover the usage of this grammar pattern with nouns. So let's just jump into an example sentence. So for our first example sentence, we're going to use the noun yakusoku, which is going to translate to promise. So our line reads, yakusoku ni shitagate tabako o suu no o yameta. And this is going to translate to basically, in accordance with the promise I made, I quit smoking tobacco, or I stopped smoking cigarettes. So let's break down this sentence now. First up, of course, we have that noun, yakusoku, which is going to mean promise. That's going to be what we're going to use with this grammar pattern, so we don't have to modify the nouns we use in any way when we're using this grammar pattern, so all we really have to do is just slap on that phrasing, ni shitagate or ni shitagai. Shitagai is actually the more formal version, and it's usually used in written language more than spoken language, so we're mostly just going to use shitagate in this video. So ni shitagate, and so that's basically our first clause in this sentence. Now what we're going to do is just going to insert this phrasing that explains what's going on in accordance or following this promise that I made. And so we just take a look at the next few words that occurs, and it's just tabako o suu no o yameta. And this is going to be the word tobacco, which is just a katakana version of tobacco, which basically just refers to smoking. So we mark that with the particle o to mark as direct object. Then we have the verb suu, which is going to mean to smoke, basically. So to smoke tobacco, we're going to turn that into a noun. So we're going to add the particle no right after the verb suu in its dictionary form to turn it into a gerund, basically. So we can then now mark again with another direct object particle, because that's what we do with nouns. We mark them as direct objects to a verb action that's occurring. So we have another verb action right after that, and that's going to be the verb yameru, which means to quit or to stop or to retire. So this is going to be to stop smoking cigarettes, basically. And yeah, we see that yameru is in its ta form because this is a past action. So altogether, once again, yakusoku ni shitagate tabako o suu no o yameta. And that's going to translate to following the promise that I made, or in accordance to the promise I made, I stopped smoking tobacco. Alright, let's do another example sentence using a noun, because I believe nouns are the most common type of word used with this grammar pattern. So for our next line, we have the example, Minna no kette ni shitagate projecto o yari naoshita. So what this line will translate to is simply, in accordance with everybody's decision or the decision that we made together, we redid the project. So I guess the context here is like some kind of company or something, and they had a meeting and they decided to redo this project that wasn't good enough for them. So let's just break this down word by word. First up, we have minna, which is going to translate to everybody. We have a noun of a noun modification going on here, starting with, of course, minna, then the particle no, which is going to instigate this modification. So minna no. Then the next word is kette, which is going to basically mean decision. So minna no kette is going to be everyone's decision, or the decision we made together, basically. And so this is a noun, basically, everyone's decision, and that's the noun that we're going to use with this grammar pattern. So now we just slap on ni shitagate, so in accordance with everybody's decision, or following the decision we made together. Now we provide whatever happened based on that decision that we're following. And that's just going to be the simple three words, projecto o yari naoshita. And this is going to be the word project with the direct object marker o to mark as the direct object of the verb yari naosu, which is going to mean basically to redo or to restart or to do over. and it's just simply going to be conjugated to its ta form because this has happened in the past. So project o yari naoshita is going to be redid the project. We redid the project. Combine that with the first part of the sentence, of course. Minna no kette ni shitagatte project o yari naoshita. We redid the project following everybody's decision, or in accordance with our decision. Okay, we're going to move on to our last example sentence, and we're going to switch this up and turn it into an example sentence using a verb. So the little nuance to know about verbs and this grammar pattern is that well, first off, we use the dictionary form of verbs, and when we do use verbs, we kind of need to use verbs or verb actions that express a continuous action and not just something that happens in a moment. So to give you an idea of that, let's just jump into the example sentence we have prepared, and that example sentence is going to read Atama no itami ga suyoku naru ni shitagatte shiken ni shuchu dekinai koto ni natta. So this line right here is going to translate to basically in accordance with the pain in my head or my headache getting stronger, it became that I couldn't concentrate on the test, or I couldn't concentrate on the test. So let's break down the sentence bit by bit. First up, we just have the word atama, which is going to translate to head. We have a noun of a noun modification going on here, started by the particle no. The second noun is going to be itami, which means pain, basically. So atama no itami is going to be pain of the head, or just head pain, or just headache. We have the particle ga, marking that as the subject, basically. So it's going to be performing some kind of action here. And the action is suyoku naru, and this is going to be the e adjective suyoi, which means strong. It's going to be turned into its adverbial form. So suyoku, then it's going to have the verb naru right after that, because naru means to become. So suyoku naru is going to basically mean to become stronger, or to strengthen, or to intensify, or something along those lines. And so this is going to be the verb that we're going to use with this grammar pattern, because naru here is in its dictionary form, so it's fine, and we can just slap on the phrasing ni shitagatte now. So atama no itami ga suyoku naru ni shitagatte is going to basically mean following my headache becoming worse or getting more painful, or in accordance with my headache getting more painful. And then now we just state what happened in accordance with that, and that is shiken ni shuchu dekinai koto ni natta. So shiken means test, so the context here is that he's taking a test while he's having a headache or something. We have the particle ni because it's just the particle that we use with the verb that we're about to use, which is shuchu suru, and that's going to basically translate to concentrate or to focus. However, suru here is going to be changed into dekiru, which is its potential form. So basically that's going to be to be able to focus as opposed to just to focus. Then in turn, dekiru is going to be conjugated into its negative nai form because we want to say not able to focus. So dekiru turns into dekinai, then we add the phrasing koto ni natta to basically translate to it became such that what? Well, we should know because shuchu dekinai. So such that I wasn't able to focus. So shiken ni shuchu dekinai koto ni natta, it became such that I wasn't able to focus. You can see here how the koto is basically just turning that into a noun that we can mark as something that became, because ni natta is just the ta form of the verb naru, which once again means to become. So koto ni natta basically means to become this thing, and the thing is basically linked to that whole phrasing that we had before, shuchu dekinai. So it became such that I couldn't focus. And so yeah, let's just take the whole sentence once again. Atama no itami ga suyoku naru ni shitagatte shiken ni shuchu dekinai koto ni natta. And so that is going to translate to as the pain in my head got worse, or as my headache increased or intensified or something, I wasn't able to concentrate on the test, or it became that I wasn't able to concentrate on the test, however you want to naturalize that. And so like I said before we jumped into this example sentence, how we use this grammar pattern with verbs, we see here that the verb action that the ni shitagatte appears right after, that verb action is going to be something that is like a continuous action. So atama no itami ga suyoku naru, that's like a continual action. It just like keeps getting, my headache keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And that's gonna about cover it for this grammar pattern, X ni shitagatte to translate to in accordance with X or following X. Let's just rehash a few details or key points about this grammar pattern. You can use it with nouns or verbs. When you use it with verbs, it has to be in its dictionary form, and it should represent a continuous action as opposed to something that just happens momentarily. You can also use the phrasing ni shitagai instead of ni shitagate, which is basically just the primas form instead of the te form, but that is more formal and usually appears in written language. And one more point that we actually haven't mentioned yet is that you can use shitagate, that phrasing, also at the beginning of the sentence as kind of a transitional word. So you kind of just drop that ni, and then you just say shitagate, and that's going to translate to something along the lines of consequently or therefore or in accordance with this, and it's basically just going to referring to whatever you just said in the last sentence. So you say something, 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 and then shitagate, and that's going to mean consequently or therefore, and then you can say whatever happens in accordance with what happened in the previous line. And yeah, I think that's about going to cover it. This is a pretty simple grammar pattern as it's just based on a single word that means what it means, and it should be pretty simple to grasp. Hopefully it was, and the example sentences helped out a bit with that. And yeah, this has been another lesson of learning Japanese. Got another grammar pattern in our bag of grammar patterns. Stay tuned for the next video.